Hello and a very warm welcome. This is the news on NTA International, reaching you live from Abuja, Nigeria's capital. My name is Justin Bemunyi and Courage Ogeriahe is the sign language interpreter. First, let's take the headlines. United Arab Emirates President Sheikh Zayed Al Nahyan to visit Nigeria this year. European Union to spend almost 2 billion euros on humanitarian activities around the world. And death toll of trapped illegal miners rise to 78. Thank you so much for joining us. Now, United Arab Emirates President Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan has accepted President Bola Tinubu's invitation to visit Nigeria this year. The Nigerian leader invited him during their bilateral talks on the sidelines of the Abu Dhabi Sustainability Week 2025. President Tinubu arrived in Abu Dhabi on Sunday as a guest of the UAE president to participate in the Sustainability Week, a forum for exchanging ideas to support sustainable development worldwide and encourage collective action to address global challenges such as climate change, water, and energy crisis. He delivered Nigeria's position on climate and other challenges and congratulated the UAE leader for the successful event. During the discussions, Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan thanked the Nigerian leader for accepting his invitation and expressed the UAE's determination to strengthen economic cooperation between Nigeria and his country. The two leaders also explored attracting investment into Nigeria. President Tinubu said his government's economic reforms are yielding fruits and called on the UAE to partner with Nigeria to develop the economy. He said the reforms had stabilized and grown the economy, encouraging foreign investors, including international oil companies, to announce billion-dollar investments, signaling renewed confidence in doing business with Africa's most populous nation. President Tinubu thanked Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan for the warm reception he and his aides received since their arrival. Minister of Foreign Affairs Yusuf Tuga, Minister of Finance Wale Edun, and the National Security Advisor Nuhuri Badu accompanied President Tinubu to the meeting at the Emirates Palace Mandarin Oriental in Abu Dhabi. President Bola Tinubu congratulates 6 distinguished diaspora Nigerians named by President Joe Biden among the 400 recipients of the Presidential Early Career Award list for scientists and engineers in the United States. The prestigious recognition established by former President Bill Clinton in 1996 is the highest honor bestowed by the United States government on outstanding scientists and engineers in the early stages of their careers. This year's awardees, announced by President Joe Biden on Tuesday, are employed or funded by 14 participating United States government agencies. The Nigerian honorees include Aziz Butali, Gilbert Lilly, Ijoma Opara, and Oluwatomi Akindele. Others are Eno Ebong, Oluwasami Koyejo, and Abidemi Ajibwe. President Tinubu commends these trailblazing Nigerians for their remarkable achievements in science, technology, and engineering. The Nigerian leader notes that recognizing these exceptional talents underscores Nigeria's vast potential to excel both at home and on the global stage. Similarly, President Bola Tinubu has congratulated Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, Director General of the World Trade Organization, Mr. Fola Adeola, co-founder of Guarantee Trust Bank PLC, and Mr. Kola Adeshina, Managing Director of Sahara Power Group, on the well-deserved conferment of honorary doctorate degrees by the University of Lagos. In a statement by presidential spokesman Bayo Onanuga, the university recognized Dr. Okonjo-Iweala for her trailblazing as the first African woman to lead the World Trade Organization and for introducing significant reforms in Nigeria's financial sector. For Fola Adeola, his pioneering role in the Nigerian banking sector and for establishing the Fit Foundation, an NGO mentoring young Nigerian entrepreneurs through training and loans, is novel. Kola Adeshina, on his part, being an alumnus of the university, was recognized for his innovative contributions to the energy sector. Adeshina is the Group Managing Director of Sahara Power Group, an energy and infrastructure organization with operations in 42 countries. In another development, President Bola Tinubu has paid a moving tribute to an elder statesman, Chief Bisi Akande, as a seasoned administrator and first national chairman of the governing All Progressives Congress, as he marks yet another birthday. President Tinubu described Chief Akande as a truly progressive and committed artist who has made tremendous contributions to Nigeria's democracy, nation building and development. He said selfless service has been Baba Akande's watchword since he joined politics. Bisi Akande was secretary to the government of Old Oyo State and later deputy governor. He then served as governor of Osun State from 1999 to 2003, interim national chairman of the All Progressives Congress and now chairman of the governing board of Nigeria's premier University of Ibadan. Underscoring Akande's considerable contributions to the APC, the president commended him for his pioneering efforts, which was pivotal to the party's victory in the 2015 and subsequent elections. President Tinubu said Baba Akande's 86th birthday offers him a veritable opportunity to thank him for his support and wise counsel in his political journey and rise to the presidency of Nigeria, and wished Baba Akande more grace and strength as he made invaluable contributions to the country and impacted the younger generation. Now moving on, the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, says that rebuilding Nigeria requires unity, focus, and sacrifice from all stakeholders, and urged esteemed leaders to refrain from rhetorics that undermine public trusts and champion the collective goal of a prosperous Nigeria. The minister in a statement urged the Emir of Kano, Mohammed Sanusi II, to rise above personal interests and partisan undertones and prioritize the greater good of Nigerians. He said the federal government notes the recent remarks by His Highness Emir Muhammadu Sanusi II regarding the economic reforms introduced under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration. At a public event in Lagos, where the Emir acknowledged the noble initiatives which he said he could explain away but for his decision not to help the government. The minister said the federal government acknowledges that Emir Sanusi, and indeed any Nigerian, has the inalienable right to express an opinion either in the form of commendation or criticism on how the government has been run. However, it is amusing that a leader, more so one from an institution that ennobles forthrightness, fairness and justice, would publicly admit to shuffling off saying the truth because of personal interest hinged on imaginary antagonism. The statement adds that Nigeria is at a pivotal juncture where bold and decisive actions are necessary to tackle entrenched economic challenges, and the administration has implemented transformative reforms, not because they are easy, but because they are essential for securing Nigeria's long-term stability and growth, as Emir Sanusi had consistently advocated. The temporary pains currently experienced from these inevitable decisions, as Sanusi himself acknowledged, are a necessary consequence of decades of irresponsible economic management more than anything else. Nigeria governors have reiterated their support for a comprehensive reform of Nigeria's archaic tax laws and acknowledged the importance of modernizing the tax system to enhance fiscal stability and align with global best practices. In a communique signed by its chairman and the governor of Kwara State, Abdurrahman Abdurrazak, the forum endorsed a revised value-added tax (VAT) sharing formula to ensure equitable distribution of resources, 50% based on equality, 30% based on derivation, and 20% based on population. Members agreed that there should be no increase in the VAT rate or reduction in corporate income tax (CIT) at this time to maintain economic stability. The forum advocated for the continued exemption of essential goods and agricultural produce from VAT to safeguard the welfare of citizens and promote agricultural productivity. The meeting recommended that there should be no terminal clause for TETFund, NASENI, and NIDA in the sharing of development levies in the bills. The forum supports the continuation of the legislative process at the National Assembly that will culminate in the eventual passage of the tax reform bills. Now, universities' curriculum development for new and existing programs to meet the needs of the industry and also enhance employability is part of suggestions and recommendations made at the end of a two-day conference of directors of academic planning of Nigerian universities in collaboration with the National Universities Commission. The event, which had its theme as redefining Nigeria university education in the 21st century, challenges, opportunities, and prospects, was held in Abuja. Francis Odojo has the details.
After several paper presentations by academicians, ranging from merits and demerits of impact of artificial intelligence on Nigerian university education, digitalization of academic planning and quality assurance in Nigerian universities, the conference had 8-point communique recommending ways of redefining Nigerian universities to meet global standards. They include presentation on digitalization of academic planning and quality assurance in Nigerian universities, benefits, opportunities, and security challenges, and the need to pass on the decision to the Governing Council of all Nigeria universities. The communique emphasized the adoption of artificial intelligence and automation in driving the academic goals and growth of the Nigerian university system. In Abuja, Francis Udojo, NTA News.
Now, one of the ambitious drives of this administration is for Nigeria to eradicate open defecation status by 2030. Federal government at a two-day training workshop on the Clean Nigeria campaign for CDS officers of the NYSC has reaffirmed its commitment to prioritizing sanitation and hygiene as critical components of national development. Osman Zubairu reports.
Clean Nigeria campaign Use Toilets was launched in November 2019 to focus on ending open defecation, improve sanitation and hygiene. However, since the flag-off of the campaign, there has been remarkable but slow progress in achieving the targets. At its stands, only 136 LGA out of 774 and Gigawatt certified ODF-free and safe for sanitation practice.
136 local governments cut across only 19 states. So again, we still have a whole lot of other states, about 17, including the FCT, that also need to take that action to ensure, that we meet the target of ending open defecation.
This strategic workshop, put together by the Federal Ministry of Water Resources and Sanitation in collaboration with the Self-Help Africa, is a clarion call to action to collaborate with the NYSC in mobilizing co-members nationwide through CDS activities to trigger a sanitation revolution that will end open defecation in the country.
We need to redouble our efforts towards achieving our target of ending open defecation by the year 2030.
Local officers will take the campaign to clean our environments and bring an end to open defecation in our respective communities.
This training workshop, you will gain valuable insights that will enhance your role in our efforts to reach out to individuals in our various communities across the country.
Discussions were focused on how to drive behavioral change in attitude and involvement of critical stakeholders that are passionate and committed to making a positive impact in sanitation sector. In Abuja, Osman Zubairu, NTA News.
You're watching the news on NTA International. We now take a breather. We'll be back with more stories. Don't go away. And the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and the National Identity Management Commission are set to conduct biometric data collection for all farmers nationwide. The first phase of this initiative aims to register 2 million farmers over the next 2 months. Musa Baliu tells us more.
Data encompasses more than just numbers. It embodies information that fosters transparency and accountability in agricultural assistance. There have been figures suggesting that the country has 97,264,000 rural dwellers, most of whom are farmers cultivating less than 2 hectares of land. However, the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security will carry out an exercise to provide accurate figures of farmers in the country as directed by the President. The initiative has led to the signing of a Memorandum of Understanding between the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security and the National Identity Management Commission, NIMC.
We're now going to actually register a genuine farmer, which will have only one biometric and one NIN number. So we know actually who we're going to, in terms of intervention, who we're going to target. And that is the first, we'll have a primary information, and then the secondary information will now give us the location of the farmland, the geolocation of the farmland, the types of crops, the types of soil, the type of farm cultivation.
So we want to ensure that we kick off the registration of the farmers as quickly as possible, and we have a 3-month timeline for that. NIMC has its own processes for ensuring that we register the farmers, because we have to capture their biometric information, which is sensitive data, so we will follow the normal process of doing that.
In the first phase of the initiative, 6 million farmers will be registered, starting with 2 million over the next 6 months. The effort will streamline the process and enable the ministry to better reach out to farmers for government support. It will also create a platform for farmers to access loan facilities from financial institutions and other social amenities. In Abuja, Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
Now, European Union continues to remain a leading global humanitarian aid donor. With more than 300 million people estimated to be needing humanitarian assistance this year, the EU has announced an initial humanitarian budget for 2025 of 1.9 billion euros. Haman Jabana reports on the allocations.
The European Commission has been providing humanitarian aid since 1992 in over 110 countries, reaching millions of people across the globe each year. Its assistance is delivered through humanitarian partner organizations such as the European Humanitarian Forum, non-governmental organizations, international organizations, and specialized agencies in the member states. The 2025 humanitarian aid shows that 375 million euro will be allocated to wider Middle East, 95 million euro will be allocated to North Africa and Yemen, an initial allocation of 140 million euro for Ukraine, and additional 8 million euro will be allocated to humanitarian projects in neighboring Moldova. For Africa, a total of 510 million euro will be used to support vulnerable people across the continent. Aid will be channeled to West and Central Africa, the Sahel, the Lake Chad Basin, Northwest Nigeria, Central Africa, the Great Lakes region, and the Greater Horn of Africa.
Our aim is to provide assistance and relief around the world, and for that we reach out together with our partners to millions of people around the world every year. We will keep this doing also this year, and to this end, so let me announce that the EU expects to deliver around 1.9 billion euros in humanitarian aid in 2000.
An initial 113 million euro will be directed at addressing the domestic and regional impacts of crisis in Venezuela Around 182 million in Asia will be allocated to humanitarian assistance, in particular for the Yemen crisis and its impact in Bangladesh, as well as for the crisis in Afghanistan. Over 35 million euro are allocated to the Southern Africa and Indian Ocean region. More than 295 million euro are reserved for worldwide action responding to sudden onset emergencies and unforeseen humanitarian crises that may arise throughout the year. Over 110 million euro will be committed to horizontal activities, including innovative projects and policy initiatives. For example, the multi-year programmatic partnership and the enhanced response capacity. Hamad Jabani, NTA News.
Now, Chairman, Nigerians and Diaspora Commission Abike Dabirerewa has lauded Governor, Central Bank of Nigeria, Olayemi Kadoso, for introducing the non-resident Nigerian ordinary account and the non-resident Nigerian investment account. The Commission's head of Media, Public Relations and Protocols, Abdurrahman Balogun, in a statement says the move is a strategic initiative to enhance diaspora engagement and bolster Nigeria's economic growth. Dabirerewa emphasized the pivotal role of diaspora remittances, noting its status as the highest source of foreign exchange to Nigeria, which surpasses oil revenues. The NITCOM boss urged Nigerians in the diaspora to leverage these new financial packages. A U.S. Deputy Secretary of State Kurt Campbell has commended the Nigerian government through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs for its close collaboration in successfully repatriating funds linked to forfeited luxury real estate and the Galactical Star superyacht. In a valedictory telephone conversation with Minister of Foreign Affairs Yusuf Tuga, the Deputy Secretary of State thanked him and his team. The repatriation negotiations, he said, had made him a believer in Nigeria. A statement by the media aide to Minister of Foreign Affairs Al-Qasim Abdul Qadri further pledged the support and cooperation of the incoming U.S. Deputy Secretary of State. Al-Qasim also notes that the call addressed bilateral issues between the two countries, such as leveraging technology to turn digital assets like Binance into mutually beneficial opportunities for Nigeria to become a hub of data mining, data storage, and artificial intelligence. Al-Qasim says Tuga stressed Nigeria's robust gas energy transition plans, like the African Atlantic gas pipeline traversing 15 African countries, that can provide the requisite energy supply for crypto players and data miners. This has great potential, and Nigeria looks forward to partnering with allies like the United States and Morocco. Now, France has summoned a senior Venezuelan diplomat in Paris to protest against Caracas' decision to limit the number of French diplomat personnel in the Latin American country. The Foreign Ministry said in a statement it would take reciprocal measures but did not give details. Venezuela said it would impose restrictions on French, Italian, and Dutch diplomats in Caracas and reduce their embassy personnel to just 3, citing their government's hostile response to President Nicolas Maduro's inauguration for a third-term advertisement. Now, Bulgaria's parliament on Thursday voted to approve a conservative-led coalition government formed in a bid to end the EU nation's worst political turmoil since the end of communism. Pramapanye has more to tell us.
The Balkan country has seen 7 snap votes after massive anti-graft protest led 3-time Premier Boyko Borisov to resign in 2021. Borisov's conservative GERB party topped the most recent election in October, and on Wednesday announced it had managed to agree with the Socialist and a right-wing party to form government with the backing of a Turkish minority faction. A total of 125 lawmakers voted in favor of the new government lineup, while 114 voted against. GERB secured the agreement after Borisov gave up his initial insistence to take up the premiership for a fourth time and instead designated former Parliament Speaker Rosen Jeleskov as Premier. Introducing his cabinet, Jeleskov told Parliament that the different parties reached a coalition agreement in a difficult, dynamic and tense period, putting aside ideological and political differences. The country has been in a political crisis for some time, a crisis of confidence, the 56-year-old lawyer added, vowing to overcome it. Jeleskov is a close Borisov ally who has served in various posts, including Transport Minister in past Gerb-led governments. European Union Chief Ursula von der Leyen said she looked forward to working with Jeleskov for a thriving Bulgaria and a stronger united Europe and appreciated his support to the brave neighbor Ukraine, which Russia invaded in 2022. Frama Pani, NTA News.
Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu receives with shock the news of the sudden demise of the Deputy Chief Whip of the House of Representatives, Honorable Adewumi Oriyomi Onanuga. In our heartfelt condolence message to the deceased family, the entire leadership and members of the House of Representatives, Ogun State Governor Dapo Abiodun and her constituents in Ikene, Shagamu, Remo North constituency, the First Lady describes her death as a great loss to her family, the legislature, Ogun State, Nigeria, and the women folk in general, while noting that the late Honorable Adewumi Onanuga was an astute politician who demonstrated her leadership capabilities in no small measure as a Deputy Chief Whip of the House of Representatives. The First Lady prays that Almighty God grants all those affected by her death the fortitude to bear this irreplaceable loss and grant eternal peace to the departed. And also, Speaker of the House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas, has expressed grief over the death of Deputy Chief Whip of the House, Adewumi Oriyomi Onanuga, saying she was a strong pillar who would be sorely missed in Parliament. Speaker Abbas recalled how he led members of the House in support and prayers for the deceased during her health challenge, while describing her eventual death as painful. He said, as the only female member in the leadership of the House, late Onanuga inspired and rallied female legislators for the greater good of Parliament and the country by extension. He said Onanuga was an experienced politician and a resourceful lawmaker who was dogged in rallying support for gender bills in the 9th Assembly. Speaker Abbas commiserates with the Onanuga family and her constituents, the government of Ogun State, as well as the All Progressives Congress over the loss of the lawmaker. In a separate condolence message, Deputy Speaker Benjamin Kalu noted late Onanuga's commitment to the cause of women's empowerment and political inclusion, as well as her support for the Peace in the Southeast project. He prayed for the repose of the soul of the deceased. And this is where we end the news on Inter International. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Justin Abemuyi, and Courage Ogari has been the sign language interpreter, and we say you have a good evening.